Welcome back to Bloomberg Daybreak Europe. Now, Nvidia shares closed firmly in the red, raising more than $100 billion in market value. Meanwhile, here in the UK, chip maker Pragmatic wants to propel the UK onto the global semiconductor stage. Last year, the company secured £182 million in funding, opening the UK's first production facility, which has the capacity to churn out billions of flexible chips. Joining me now is chip maker Pragmatic's CEO, David Moore, formerly, of course, and with experience at companies including the likes of Intel and Micron. David, thank you very much for joining me this Friday morning, bright and early. Let's start with what the proposition is for Pragmatic. You say you're revolutionising the build-out of semiconductors, particularly here in the UK. What is it that you do, and what clients are you servicing?
Thanks, Tom. I'm glad to be with you this morning. Pragmatic Semiconductor is a UK-based world leader in flexible semiconductor technology. So based in Cambridge, where I'm joining you from today, with our manufacturing in the northeast of England, we develop and manufacture ultra-thin, low-cost, flexible chips with an ultra-low carbon footprint. And this enables us to embed them for item level intelligence in virtually any object on the planet. And we see applications in industrial, consumer, healthcare applications, enabling smarter packaging, for instance, for more circular economy, wearable monitors for more affordable healthcare solutions, better visibility, safety, security in the supply chain. So a whole host of applications for what is really a revolutionary approach to semiconductor manufacturing.
And David, you successfully raised that funding last year. You built out this facility. There's a lot of capex there. Are you getting the demand from customers to kind of offset that spend? What are you seeing in terms of demand, and where is it coming from? What kind of sectors?
Absolutely. So, I mean, obviously, customer demand is extremely strong. And so we are right now ramping production of our first fab. So that's our production facility up in Durham. That's the UK's first 300 millimeter 12-inch wafer fab in the UK, Tom. From there, we're going to be taking the funding that we successfully raised in our Series D. That was, the largest venture raise in European semiconductor history. So very, very fulfilling in a challenging environment. We're going to be taking that funding and accelerating our capacity. So going from billions of ICs per year to tens of billions ICs per year. And of course, advancing our technology in the process as well. And so, ultimately, there is demand across a wide range of applications, but front and foremost for us is really in enabling that smarter packaging in fast-moving consumer goods. So providing authentication, track and trace capabilities, but ultimately to enabling reduced waste, more recycling, reuse, for a more circular economy. So basically leveraging both the fact that we're inherently more sustainable from our manufacturing standpoint and leveraging that into better sustainability outcomes across segments.
Does that suggest that you sit outside the kind of demand we're seeing for generative AI? Very different chips, GPUs versus the non-silicon that you guys produce. Is there any overlap between what's happening in the world of generative AI and what you are doing now, or potentially what you're going to be doing in the future?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. I think, look, obviously, chips front and center in terms of, that's depending on them for almost every aspect of our daily lives. And so clearly there are roles to play across the cloud, what's known as the edge, and then all the way out to at the item level. And so that's really where Pragmatic plays. There's going to be a lot of AI-based solutions for Internet of Things at scale, enabling track and trace, higher efficiencies. And what we're really about is providing a digital identity and information footprint for basically every physical object on the planet. And so our mission is to see our technology deployed in trillions of smart items over the next decade. And that plays very much a role in providing kind of that data for a lot of these really, really impactful and important AI solutions, not just in terms of market demand, Tom, but also in terms of the underpinnings of solutions to some of our most important environmental and societal problems.
Yeah. David, the UK doesn't have a great track record on this kind of stuff. You're ticking a lot of boxes and you're making that progress, but I'm thinking of Graphcore that is facing those challenges, looking for a buyer as we stand. Newport Wafer Fab, that's been sold to a US company. British Volt, an electric vehicle battery maker, essentially collapsed. What is it that the UK is doing wrong? What is it that it needs to do to support these kind of businesses, the manufacturing of this future tech?
Absolutely. When it comes to semiconductors, I think the announcement of the national strategy last year here in the UK, I think was an important step forward, really just acknowledging the importance of semiconductors. I absolutely believe there's a role for the UK to play on a global stage. We've seen a lot of push for diversification of the supply chain. I think it's important in terms of how we look at the opportunities for the UK to play its role in areas of strength. And so clearly, let's say advanced silicon manufacturing may be, a bridge too far for the UK, but the manufacturing using advanced materials such as Pragmatics, thin film technologies is a much more, I would say, capital efficient approach to servicing some of that demand that complements silicon in the broader market. So ultimately, what we'd like to see is a continued focus, obviously, of the sector. We do want to see continued rollout of incentives that help encourage more investment in domestic manufacturing. I think we're demonstrating that it can be done in the UK. And it can be done well. And we're also building, too, on a long heritage, as you say, for the UK in the semiconductor industry. And so I think there's a great opportunity and an important one for the UK to play a strategic role on the global stage.
OK, David Moore, thank you very much for taking the time. Pragmatic's CEO, and what is needed to propel this innovative push around semiconductors here in the UK, with the focus there on incentives. We'll see what the next government does on that front. David, thank you very much indeed for taking the time.